Every single joke, every phrase he utters, even those from his dad, carries its charm and meaning. Are you feeling used out with you?
It's an unusual city. Maybe a little too chaotic for me, but...
Full of foreigners.
Parmi, a participant from Love is Blind Italy, has gone on social media to publicly defend the family of fellow participant Gergana, who, throughout the entire duration of the program, consistently based her entire narrative and storyline on Parmi's ethnicity.
I was expecting somebody from Tuscany, but not an Indian guy.
She, even before meeting him personally, even before they started living together, she brought up the issue of his ethnicity many times, and she placed the blame on her parents.
Out there just to... But... What would they think of someone of my ethnicity?
I don't know if they'd understand.
Well, obviously, but the person who had to marry him, it was her, and not her parents, a woman of 30 years old. And the outcome was as expected, predictable. She gently squeezed his little hand at the altar. Then he left. She said that she's waiting for him right outside.
Thus, it was too early to get married. We are who we are.
I came here to clarify this matter. For you to normalize, to make it seem normal and say I was there, only I know. Blame Netflix. Yes, he was capable of blaming Netflix.
The message that came across on television is the result of editing. Only certain nuances were shown, while many others were not. Were there fears? Yes. Were there initial prejudices? Maybe.
What do I tell my parents? I went on a program, and on top of that, I also fell in love with an Indian man. My parents are from Eastern Europe. They shouldn't have any prejudices, but they obviously do.
What am I going to tell my parents? I went on a TV show and I fell in love with an Indian man. She didn't specifically say, I fell in love with Parmi. No, she said, I fell in love with an Indian. An Indian represents an entire group of people. Isn't that right? Make a note of that. And I said, my parents would never, under any circumstances, accept something like this. To the end, it's important to recall that it was Parmi. Right from their initial encounter in the cabin, his attention was solely fixed on Gergana. He was determined to find her, and only her. And it was instantaneous. From the very first meeting, he was already completely and utterly in love. A true, genuine love bombing.
Yeah, but I was the one who was crying the whole time. It's not like she reassured me. I don't know.
While all the women are raising the green flag for Parmi, they are all, without exception, raising the red flag for Giovanni. Giovanni, who has been accused of being a complete narcissist. And guess who made that accusation? By Gergana. Gergana went to a place called Flying Monkeys, where she joined the women's group and openly stated that Giovanni was a narcissist. This happened after she had been completely discarded. She accused him of being a narcissist right there in front of the entire group, and that wasn't even the worst part. She went on to classify the other women as mere costume jewelry, as if they were... She's a valuable gem. She's not just any ordinary woman, because that really wounded her ego, didn't it? Because a woman like Gergana, she is simply not accustomed to being discarded. Her usual habit is to be the one who discards men, just as she did with Parma. Why is he doing this? What does he hope to gain by acting this way? Why is he going against his very own ethnic group? Why is he deliberately ignoring an Italian reality, especially?
Ma perché io non sono razzista, ma prendi i negri. È scientificamente dimostrato che sono inferiori proprio a livello cerebrale. E lo dimostra pure il fatto che quando sono andati in America dall'Africa si sono messi a fare gli schiavi. Invece noi italiani, quando siamo andati in America, subito abbiamo creato la mafia. Lo vedi che è proprio un altro livello di organizzazione, di creatività. È il Made in Italy.
It's not just about this particular fact, but also the character known as Parma, who outside of the program's context has consistently shown himself to be a completely different individual, a person who is profoundly sexist, incredibly controlling, and utterly deceitful in nature. And since he'll most likely try to use the narrative that I wasn't there, that I have no knowledge of it, I'm going to make one thing absolutely clear right here. And just a few days ago, the sister of an Italian woman came forward and claimed that her sister had unfortunately fallen victim to the Parmi scam. She was completely taken for a ride. She was thoroughly deceived by Parm right after the program had concluded.
This young lady asserts that Parmi did not fully disclose the entire truth, as a matter of fact.
He asserts that his sibling was ridiculed and mocked by Parmi.
You cannot seriously believe that you can make a mockery of someone and then expect to escape without any consequences? Andrea, I watched the program myself and I paid very close attention to it. And what he told you does not match up in the slightest with what was actually broadcast. Go right ahead and take all your moments of glory because karma will always handle the rest. You shouldn't necessarily be suspicious of the man who openly flirts with many women, but instead be much more cautious of the one who seems to focus all his attention solely on you. And quickly he launches a love bombing campaign. He acts completely smitten and passionate. He won't debate or argue with you. He never raises any questions. Everything is wonderful. Everything is perfect. He's a prince, and most people fall for this narrative. If they had been two entirely distinct periods of their existence, today, neither I nor my sister, we would never have gotten ourselves involved. I want to make it perfectly clear that nobody wants to generate hatred in others, but it is simply the right thing to do to tell the truth. Instead of creating drama for hype, because there's a person who's been let down, hurt, and deluded. Nobody is saying anything bad about anyone. I simply gave a spoiler. It seems quite obvious that everyone has had their own past relationships. Oh no, I only came into Parma's life after Gergana. And I have already made this clear on 2 separate occasions. At various points in time, the teasing has been something else. So, this was before the recording session for the 10th episode, which is scheduled to be released in the next few days. And I want to make it abundantly clear, I am perfectly calm. It's not to have principles and values and to state things as they truly are. That is not hate speech. Hate speech is when you have the audacity to show no shame speaking on camera that Milan is full of foreigners, full of Mohammedans. Remember, it was Parmi from the very first meeting in the cabin. His focus was entirely on Gergana. He truly wanted to find her. And it was instant. Right from that first encounter, he was already completely smitten. A genuine, absolute love bombardment. While all the women are raising the green flag for Parmi, they are all, without exception, raising the red flag for Giovanni. Giovanni, who has been accused of being a complete narcissist. And guess who made that accusation?
She's absolutely stunning, my friend. We truly are.
We're all in love with a narcissist, you.
Tell them all badly cooked. I simply love you. I'll tell you in Neapolitan. Maybe it's avoided you. Brava.
Regarding Gergana, she went to the Flying Monkeys. She was with a group of women, and she stated that Giovanni was a narcissist. I only truly understood this after he discarded me. She went right ahead and accused him of being a total narcissist, making sure to tell this to everyone in the group. And what's more, she even went so far as to categorize all the other women as if they were just cheap costume jewelry, like cheap articles, that she is a jewel. She is not just anyone, because that really wounded her ego, didn't it? Because a woman of Gergana's caliber, she is simply not accustomed to being cast aside. Her usual practice is to discard men, just as she did with Parmi.
And today I want to defend the person, not the character. I want to defend a very simple principle.
Giovanni, you should be the last person trying to take a stance and shine a spotlight on yourself regarding this issue. First of all, you do not know what it means to be a non-white person in Italy. Second, you were explicitly labeled a narcissist by Gergana. She damaged your reputation. She went around telling everyone that you were a narcissist, and many Italian people accused you of narcissism.
Because we're not talking about... Let's go back to the principle. Why do I say that in my opinion? You 6'1" pathological narcissist.
I, a black woman, did not accuse you of narcissism. I defended you on social media.
As much as we must condemn racism, we cannot allow a witch hunt, guys.
Because if you do not discriminate against people based on their ethnicity, you will never be a victim of this type of accusation. Now, if Parmi is claiming without proof that he received in-person threats, physical threats, not online threats, then he needs to prove it. And if it was online, he also needs to show the evidence. I don't need to sleep with them or live with them to bring this debate forward.
Even if Gergana is a little bit witchy, if we then turn it into reality, at that point it's better to stay silent. It's better to get one less like, guys. It's better to receive one less comment on a video, especially for certain influencers.
And you keep talking about certain influencers. Well, that reaches me too, because my work is precisely to comment on these issues. And you also joined Netflix to be talked about. You are visibility. Parmi is visibility. Gergana is visibility. You all entered a show where the last real objective was to find true love. You fully use this platform to your advantage. You are doing lives, becoming an influencer. So don't judge what you are also doing. You comment on the show in the first person. You go live, you make videos, you make memes. You are now an influencer too. I don't have anything against Parm, but I am recognized, here in Brazil as the 7th best in terms of diversity and inclusion. I've also been honored with several awards specifically for my work on ethnicity. I am a specialist in this particular subject, and I'm certainly not here to romanticize or to conceal. Love is Blind Italy, this is his very first season. Many people simply don't have much experience with social media platforms, and they don't understand how they operate. Many want to treat a global television program as if it were just a private family gathering, or perhaps a casual conversation that happened in a local bar or a quiet square in some small Italian town. No, my dear friends, that's not how it works at all. It's no use for you to keep silencing, blocking people. It's no use for you to keep doing live streams demanding empathy when it was you who went to Netflix and signed up to seek fame. Noisy. Because people ultimately, no one there truly established a serious relationship. Just one couple's connection truly followed a linear path, and that was the Italian man and the Korean woman. This only serves to prove, once again, my long-standing thesis that an ever-increasing number of Italian men are consistently choosing to enter into relationships with women who are not of Italian descent. The world would be a much better place for women who fall into a relationship with a narcissist. I'm going to tell you something, because there are so many people talking about narcissism without even knowing what it truly is. Folks, I was married to a narcissist, and I guarantee you when I first met him, the word narcissist was not written on his forehead. Do you know what he seemed like? A Prince Charming. I was like, man, I'm trying to find a flaw in him and I can't find one. And I went to the altar, and that's when the mask finally fell. In Parma's case, I was going to say that mask isn't, but it's already falling, isn't it, folks? And an Italian woman says that karma will eventually catch up with you. My friend, I am also standing here.